doing?
We're doing good. I've been wearing my Good Walk coffee shirt today.
Did you go for a walk in your Good Walk coffee shirt?
You know what? I haven't gone for a walk today. So I haven't taken a good walk today. Have you taken a good walk? Did you take a good walk today?
I honestly, I walk on the treadmill and put it on the iPad, and
Sounds delightful.
it's like some of the times you can actually most focus in on golf because you really like take the second screens away and you really kind of lock into the golf. But I don't know if
I
that's a
had to
good
go,
walk.
I had to go to a thing for my daughter, and it's one of those things where you drop your kid off, and I just had my phone, and I was like super locked in. It was
That's
nice.
great.
Yeah,
That's great.
it was good.
All
So
right, let's share this link. We are going live on. Start.
look at that.
To
I think
discuss.
people are already in. People are already
I'm
in,
sure they
and
are.
so it's you know, the original daily major pod ready to go here.
God, remember that first one, Thursday of 2019 Masters? What would come?
What would come? You know, it's
All right. All right, here we go. Sharing the link. Live on
I don't know if it's working on Twitter.
It's working on your Twitter. It's on
It
the
is
Andy
good.
TFE, I
All
think.
right, that's all that matters then.
Let me get my
Just
sip of my
it's
tea.
somewhere discoverable.
Switch to my tea here. All right, here we go. Greetings and welcome to a Friday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is May 17th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'm doing great. I mean, it is what a day. What a day. I got to say it was unbelievable. I've got this thing that like when I set alarms, early alarms, I wake up early. Do you do
Like
that ever?
before the alarm, just before the alarm.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
there's like I have like a subliminal thing while I'm sleeping. I know I have to get up. I woke
like a
up
trigger.
today at like
Yeah.
4 in the morning, and I kind of was like, I was like, God, I don't think it's right before. And I rolled over and I checked what time it was on my phone. Almost went back to sleep. Like almost went back to sleep. I was like, you know what? Let's see what's going on. Let's see if anything happened. And all of a sudden I opened my phone. Scotty Scheffler's been arrested.
It was incredible. It was one of those days like I talked about yesterday in the 7 to 8 range where I was just going to like I don't know, hang with my kids. It's like I'm putting my phone away. I checked my email real early and didn't open the email. All it said was PGA Championship delayed, tee times delayed. So I didn't check why someone had been killed. I just thought there were thunderstorms. I was like, I'm going to come back to my computer at like 8 o'clock. And then it's like my kids are getting off to school and it's like people are sending me texts like, what happened with Sheffler? It's a mess. I was like, oh, you mean like the kid thing? Or like, I was like, nope, quickly learn. This would be I would put it akin to the day last year when we found out about the merger, quote unquote, framework agreement, whatever you want to call it. One of those mornings where you'll kind of remember where you were, very different reasons, but you remember the circumstances. And the day was just like off and running. You were locked in. You were not moving from your chair. You were not moving from your phone until late afternoon. It like since that framework agreement, I put this day right there with it in terms of golf just penetrating this larger national sports circus and national news. If we're being honest, it was bananas. What a weird, odd circumstance to wake up to.
So crazy. I didn't understand. I had heard there was the accident and somebody got killed. I didn't know that, and I think the way it was reported, and shame on me, media, I wasn't reading my email. I think we've gone over that. I don't always read emails. But anyways, the way it was being reported, I thought it was a weather delay for the longest
That's what
time.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and the way ESPN was reporting it, it kind of like it didn't say that it seemed like it was a weather delay because they'd show shots of it raining, and then, they never clarified. Like, I think for a while it might have seemed like they were delaying the tee times to like a casual onlooker for Sheffler. But this whole day, and obviously a tragedy with the volunteer passing away, that's a super sad. And obviously then the Sheffler thing is just nutty. I like the whole situation.
Let's begin first with the sad news and the most serious news. I think like there was this sort of wagging your finger at people for being interested in the Sheffler news, and like these two things can be mutually exclusive. The more serious news is that someone lost their lives, but the fact that the number one golfer was arrested in cuffs in an orange jumpsuit in a mugshot and had a major championship round within a matter of hours was also news of interest. So those things, I think like some people were like, how somebody lost their life. Why are you talking about this? Like both things are newsworthy. Obviously, one is much more serious, much more lasting, and much more tragic. And we should note John Mills, his family, his photographer, his photograph is out there. A security, part of the security vendor, got hit by a bus around 5 a.m. and died. There's been some reporting, some firsthand stories about kind of the mess and dangerous nature of the road and the entryway and the chaotic nature of the traffic flow and pedestrian flow and the rideshare drop off. There's been a fair amount of like I would say informal testimony on. I don't want to say that this was coming, but it didn't seem like the safest, most secure arrangement. And part of that was in an article that Shane Ryan, a great Q&A that Shane Ryan did with a local attorney trying to talk about Sheffler's situation, who had been to Valhalla on Wednesday. And he opened it. Before we get into any of this, he goes, the first thing, we took our 9-year-old Wednesday. We dropped off in the rideshare lot. He talks about how dangerous you're on this US 60 4-lane highway coming to Washington, D.C. that happens to be the road to Valhalla. Traffic's coming by. Buses are dropping people off. It's very busy. We were held up waiting. By the time we got waved across, there were 50 people there, and half of them had no idea where to go. Things weren't marked. There were just cones. It's not walk here, don't walk there. Some people started to walk across, and they got real yelling at from the police officer saying, walk where you're supposed to. You're going to get run over. And these people are just nice and confused. And he went back and reiterated in this interview. I can just tell you again, that when we were there, I took special notice because this is my work and it seemed unsafe. I turned and looked back for a few more seconds, and I saw a police officer holding up a stop traffic sign, and they didn't stop. 4 or 5 cars came blowing through, and the officers just looked at each other like, what can you do? So it seems like that's one person testimony who does this for a living, kind of keeps an eye on this. Will Zalatoris, Cameron Young talked to Gabby Herzig. Great quote, great reporting by Gabby. He said it took them 2 hours to get from their house to the course. It's 2 miles. And Zalatoris noticed this on Monday, told his parents not even to bother coming. I think with a lot of these major championships, it's just local or people like they're never smooth. There's just a lot of people in a small amount of places. I think people overreact, and you don't know.
There's
on the
usually
scale
always
worse.
one road in, right? Like,
yeah.
I think when they talk about major venues, it's super like they love when there's multiple roads in. It seems like here it's just one road in, and that obviously causes a lot of kind of chaos as it did this morning. And unfortunately, somebody lost their life.
It didn't seem like the PGA, the local law enforcement, whatever it was, the event planning certainly had this optimized, and someone lost their lives. So this creates this, what was already a dicey, like congested traffic situation into a nightmare. And I don't know if we need to go into the exact tick-tock of the whole thing, but Scheffler's trying to get through it. He goes around a cop, attached to a cop,
I think it sounds like he went around the cop and the cop attached himself to the car.
The verbiage in the police report's absurd. I don't want to the damaged pants.
Can you read it?
Can you read it?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask about the damaged pants. How did the pants get damaged?
They're mud. Did he poop his pants? We have to ask the
hold
questions.
on. While you're looking this up, I'm just gonna continue on with the basics for anybody that might have been under a rock today. Real quick. I know everybody's heard this 100 times, so I'm going to try and be brief with it. Officer attaches himself to the car. Sheffler drives 10 to 20 yards and then stops, realizing that probably that the cop is attached to the car. He just said he didn't know that it was a police officer.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he rolls down his window. The cop opens the door, pulls him out of the car. This is Jeff Darlington of ESPN happened to be nearby. Like, what are the chances that the ESPN reporters just right there? He's got a video camera and footage of it. Like the cops don't know who Scotty Sheffler is. Like,
didn't know.
First off, if you're a cop, if you're working the front, if you're working the entrance, I think they should have to know like who the 10 best players in the world are.
I don't know about that.
Like they should
He's
have
in a courtesy card
like,
too. By the way,
it should be on flashcards or something. Like, here are important people's faces.
Yeah,
this is a disaster for the Louisville Police Department. The whole day.
It's bad. It sounds like I heard that the police chief was on site at the tournament getting cussed out by higher ups in the local government community and elsewhere. Tough scene
I
for
heard
LMPD.
The owner of Valhalla went and picked Scotty Scheffler up.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's a prominent person in Louisville. I'm sure that was real,
fun. Yeah. There was a trickle down. Yeah, so the people were getting yelled at. I'll just say, like, this sucks for everybody. I'm not trying to excuse like the police behavior or like it sounds like a chaos. You already have someone who's died, right? You've got flashing lights, you've got rain, it's dark. Harris English said it's been talked to, I think Dan Rappaport asked the question, like, what's it been like? He's like, I gotta say it's been a little more chaotic than normal. There's like cones everywhere. I don't know which lane I'm supposed to be in. When you had lights, when you had and it was just chaotic. So like someone's just died. The police are probably, it's just anxious, stressful, confusing. I'm not excusing whatever happened. To be clear, I don't know that we for sure know. It seems trending in a direction like the cop was way over his skis, and still, the guy is the number one player in the world. I'll say this: the craziest thing in the day that happened.
Hold on, the guy's number one player in the world, and appears from all signs to be one of the most level-headed, grounded, calm individuals that we've come across in the game of golf.
I'll tell you why. The moment I heard Scotty Scheffler was built different, because you had a kid from Highland Park who's the number one golfer in the world going into a golf tournament and never played the "Do you know who I am" card.
Yeah,
to the police. That is, I mean, Scheffler's built different. He never said it. Like, I think I would do it even if you're a club pro. Like, I'm a golfer trying to go into the golf tournament. I would. You don't have to do the "Do you know who I am?" But he's the number one player in the world in detention, getting detained, and never plays the "Do you know who I am" card. Anyways, here's the police report. Detective Gillis was directing traffic into Gate 1 of Valhalla Golf Course due to the road being closed in both
Gillis's
directions.
career.
I feel
really
bad for the guy.
I know. It's just.
I don't know if I should. I just he's now a public figure and he lost his cool.
It's like Bartman. It's like a Bartman situation.
I don't know. He got in the field at least.
This is worse than Bartman, actually. Like, Gillis is worse than Bartman, I think.
Gillis was in the middle of westbound lanes in full MPD uniform and high visibility yellow reflective rain jacket. Gillis stopped subject, attempted to give instructions. Subject refused to comply and accelerated forward, dragging Detective Gillis. Well, how does that happen? To the crowd. Gillis suffered pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee. He was transported to the hospital for further medical treatment by emergency medical personnel. Detective Gillis's uniform pants, valued at approximately $80, were damaged beyond repair. I think this is like a great 90s indie band, like My Damaged Pants or something like that. Pants damaged beyond repair. What a preposterous! It's already been added to the Halloween costumes list for whenever we do that episode.
Detective Gillis.
Damaged pants, Detective Gillis. We had Lucas Glover sweaty pants. Now we have detective pants this year.
If you had to guess, what kind of detective do you think Gillis is?
It sounds like he's like a collision I don't know what the reenactment or collision reconstruction type detective.
Based off the description about deflecting off. Maybe he was.
So the whole thing, it just kept escalating, right? Like, all right, we've reached DEFCON 5. You see Sheffler and cell phone videos and cuffs being thrown in the back of a car at 6 a.m. Like, okay, we've maxed out here. No, give it an hour. We're going to get a freaking mugshot of him in an orange jumpsuit. I'm like, is this really happening? This is a golf tournament.
My favorite was the tweet from the woman that was like the crime reporter for years in Louisville, who's like, I've looked through thousands of these police reports. They never put people in jumpsuits. They did this all for show.
Oh, really?
Did you see that tweet? Yeah,
no.
she was like the Louisville police beat, and she's like, they never put people in the jumpsuits. They're always in the clothes that they showed up in. They did this for show, because that's the best part about it, is that the Louisville PD, this is just my read of the situation. All right. This is not, to me, it seemed like Sheffler was like a trophy to them for the first 2 hours of this. And then they realized they totally effed up. I think that the police out there were frustrated, and I understand why they were frustrated.
Yeah.
But they were like, this is our pelt. We're bringing him in. Screw this guy that didn't listen to us. And then then it flipped on him. Public discourse flipped on him.
I think once you put the cuffs on, as that was in that Shane Ryan interview, it's like you gotta keep charging. But like, they kept escalating.
Do you have to charge?
You need the mugshot. I thought I forget who I saw share the docket, the mugshot. I was like, that's fake. Like, this is an idiot got duped. And then like someone more like I thought was more credible shared. I was like, no, wait, really? Doing the blocky? No, is this a real thing? And it just kept escalating. And I was like, do they know what is going on here? I want to be clear here. Like, 100%, we are not 100% sure that Scottie Scheffler didn't do anything wrong here. It seems like we're about 99.9. I don't know. I assume it's probably on video. We'll get at that. It just sounded like a big misunderstanding and confusing situation that has led to an all-time bizarre day for golf media. Golf. Did you think? I was quite convinced. So we've got him in the orange jumpsuit. I was quite convinced there in like the 8 to 9 a.m. range that he was not going. He was done. He was WD'd jail, incarcerated.
He
wasn't going to get there in time.
That delay, I just thought the delay was the thing that, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, very tragic reason for the delay. But the tragedy is what allowed him to get back in play. I always thought, I was just thinking, I was like, he's gonna get bailed out as soon as possible. It's not like they're gonna be able to, the best would have been if the cops leaned in and like said they're withholding bail or something.
I mean, they charged him to continue the nuts and bolts. He's charged with a felony, 2nd-degree assault of a police officer, felon.
Gillis
pulling into Valhalla, not a convict, charged felon, detained, arrested felon, shooting 66 hours later. I didn't think he was going to get out. He said he's talking about how he's stretching in the jail, seeing if he can get ahead of it if he does by chance get out. He's watching Get Up, the Mike Greenberg hour on ESPN, just for the clock to try and do. I
was watching Get Up. You know why? Because there's a 24-hour golf channel dedicated to covering golf that couldn't get anybody in front of a camera all morning long. Low watermark, that article, that James Colgan golf.com article with Sam Flood should be redacted and updated, pointing out that they are not dedicated to golf fans anywhere. I'm watching Get Up. I'm having to watch stuff about the Jets primetime slate this morning, something I didn't want to watch anything about because Golf Channel's replaying live from the day before. Well, arguably the biggest story, biggest story of the year, maybe in golf, happened in Golf Channel. It's just a sad day for Golf Channel. It's honestly like maybe the lowest. There's been a lot of lows this year with NBC and Golf Channel, and this one was the most embarrassing of all of them. You couldn't get anybody in front of a camera. You couldn't get I don't care who it was. You send anybody out there to filibuster until you have Labners on site. Like put a camera, turn the camera
too. If it's a shit show on site, you just get someone in the studio going, get someone standing up on the driving range. You just get it going. But apparently no one was back home in the studio. It's not a good, like they had an excuse, but not a defense, or they had a defense, but I think it was still inexcusable. Like you got to be on TV. They've done this. Like they did the whatever when the merger broke. They were on the air for hours with no commercial. They've done it with Arnold Palmer when he died. Like they've done this. They've been on the spot. I fortunately, quite honestly, ESPN Plus like kicked into like news show minute, but they were like set up for that because they were going to do the broadcast. They have a desk there. They have talent there. They have everything set up. And thank God, or else I think we would have been up a creek with no coverage, no like video coverage or understanding of where Sheffler was. Is the car on the way? Is there been a comment from this person? So I thought that show was pretty good. Darlington was kind of great. Got a little fantastical towards the end, but he was great and he was on the spot.
Eyewitness. It's unbelievable.
It's nuts.
Honestly, if Jeff Darlington wasn't there, I don't think Sheffler makes the tee time.
I think you needed sort of the horror and shock of the assets, the visuals. Like, no, like real. This is Scotty Sheffler in his freaking golf shirt being cuffed up and turned the back of it as he's going in to like win his second major of the year. You needed those visuals. Not that if it's just Scotty Scheffler's been arrested, it's sort of this mysterious, weird thing, right? And there's the backlash and sort of it's just more confusion than backlash. But yeah, he was there. It was a good ESPN Plus show. And then all of a sudden we're learning that he's out. He's on his way to the course. So I got to ask you, of the stories you can tell, what's been your most like, you actually played golf that day. So it's not like you had to cancel. I know there's one. I think you can't. I've heard that probably shouldn't be fit for airways.
It's not fit for one's not fit for
competition round, I believe. And then,
there's another.
What's been your most stressful sort of circumstance of trying to figure out if you might play golf or something crazy happens before you're due or set to play golf and you actually played golf? I mean, let's think about this. It's like stunned by a bee or something. That's a lot of people's story. What's yours?
I was playing a scramble, like a fall in Illinois. There's these like big money fall scrambles, and I was in my buddy was driving, and we were turning into the course, 2-lane road, so traffic coming each way, and we were turning left, and some kid like went to pass him. He turned his turn signal on, everything. Some kid went to pass him on the 2-lane road, just like literally T-boned us. Like, and we like spun off into a ditch. It was crazy. It was wild. Like we were shaking. And then like, what the police come, the car was really effed up. Like we had to get like a ride back. If I remember, like I rode with somebody else back to the city. It was just like a crazy thing. But like, it was like all of a sudden we like just went off and teed off and we were just like all pretty shook up from it.
Yeah. But never in a orange jumpsuit in jail. No one's coming out of jail to the golf course.
I mean,
unless you're a pro and you're due to play for millions of dollars. That's a new one.
How do you like, I can't. The thing that I'm amazed about is like when stuff like that happens, your mind races. And it's so hard to play golf in that. And then he goes out and shoots 5 under, 66.
Yeah. I said the arrest ball 66 is what I called it. Not a worst ball 66, not a best ball, arrest ball 66. Some of the most remarkable circumstances. He said he gave a great, like, let's be honest, an incredible press conference after. Really like insightful, interesting to listen to him. Didn't seem super like man on fire angry at anyone. But he said he was shaking. Like he was shaking the whole, like how could you not? You'd be a robot if you weren't. If you're just driving to the golf course 1 minute, and next minute you're in cuffs, you're in an orange jumpsuit, and you think you're done, your tournament's done, and you also might be a felon. You're charged with a felony.
Insane.
And so he was shaking the whole time in jail. He's stretching in jail. And he said he was like shaking the whole time he was at the course. He's like, hey, everyone, eats a plate of eggs, apparently, just tries to be normal in the locker room, that whole deal.
Do you think Azinger could have eaten the eggs?
I'm trying to think of this Azinger in the similar circumstances. Guy would have been trying to kick the glass out of the cruiser. I think he would have given the whole, you know who I am, what's going on? We gotta call this golf. It's like, look at them puddles out there, Ryan Harmon. I need to get in there and make this call. Yeah, so he's shaking. The first hour, he birdies the first hole, but he said he was shaking, shoots a 66. And after like the first 3 holes, I went birdie, bogey, birdie. I was just like, oh, well, yeah, he's just shoot a Scotty Scheffler kind of round. And he did.
All right, I've got I think like golf fans were having trouble with Scotty Scheffler.
Okay.
This is the moment. This is, in a crazy way, this is the moment he needed to become one of the 3 most popular players in golf.
It's an incredible like news, pop culture. I spilled
what
water.
Do you spill? You spilled.
It was just water. Just water. The lid was not on top. We don't do this in video format. I never spill on myself, and the one time we do, it's just like pouring all down myself. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's. Everybody knows him now. The memes are incredible. We're talking about people with millions of followers, like rounding up best Sheffler memes. I'm getting friends from like random. I got a call from my local radio, JP Finley, my guy, and it's like Commanders schedule release, Commanders draft. They don't. It's their radio say don't give a shit about golf. This is the second time I got asked to be on this week. That's when you know it's like, all right, this is a big story when they're having the golf guy back the second time in 1 week. And everybody, this was sort of. I don't know if it's what Sheffler needed. He didn't need to be thrown in a jail cell. But in terms of becoming a star, like you said, it's a big moment.
I think, honestly, he's so much more popular today than he was yesterday. And it's because of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And I envision it's going to be the thing that people bring up. Like, why do you like him? Well, he just handled that whole situation. Unbelievable.
Damaged some pants. Damaged pants beyond repair. Was there anything about his press conference that especially, I don't know, stuck with you, impressed you? It was just a little surreal. He's like, I'm not going to go into details, but he did give you a lot of behind the scenes details.
I think a lawyer probably wouldn't have liked how many details he gave. Yeah. But I would say, I think just like, I'm just impressed with his entire disposition and how he's able to carry himself. And I think it shows how he plays golf. But it's like incredible to be in that situation and not freak the F out, right? Like I couldn't imagine getting cuffed as the #1 player in the world, having won 4 of your last 5 starts, being in a great position and thinking it all rinses away and not going out like in glory, just guns blazing. Like I would have been yelling in the cop car, been like, Or, and like for him to not even say who he is.
I mean, that I like that the one cop came over per Jeff Darlington's like,
Yeah.
so who did we just arrest here? Like, what did we just do? Yeah, it's not a great, like, honestly, it sounded like a just effed up situation all the way around, and chaos, lights, rain, darkness, traffic, a mess. And I think, there's some undertones all day about like police overreach, back the blue. Like there was a lot of that going on, and you have a rich white golfer. It's an incredible cultural smorgasbord of undertones, storylines, overt and not so overt, going on that came from this.
Do you think
they made him do the whole thing?
Do you think Scotty's kid will understand what happened to his dad?
He shouldn't have had to go through that. He shouldn't have had to wake up this morning, roll over in the crib or the bassinet, probably not even a crib, and see those pictures on his television of his dad getting cuffed up. Houseplant Sheffler shouldn't have had to go through that this morning. No, we're gonna get to the reaction because it was an all-time day. I'm gonna do that as a part of who's dialed in, because gosh dang it, golf Twitter, we needed this. It's been dying on the vine, all of Twitter. This was a day that brought us together. Everybody was throwing heat over the middle, and they were dialed in. They'll be nominee of our Bushnell Golf, first Bushnell Golf. Who's dialed in? Who's not dialed in? Who could have used the Bushnell Pro X3 Plus?
All of golf media got their Bushnells out. They calibrated it with their phone. They got their X3 Pro out. They calibrated
Pro X3 Plus. I can never get the letters and numbers.
Pro X3 Plus. They got it out. They calibrated with their phone. They knew exactly which way the wind was going, because this is the first rangefinder that can tell you which way the wind's going. So you get distance, you get uphill, downhill, and you get wind. You're dialed in. You're gonna make great tweets. You're gonna be able to. You're gonna be freed up to make great golf swings because you're gonna know everything going on. So that was this morning on Twitter. Go to bushnellgolf.com. Check out more stuff on the X3 Pro Plus.
All right, so we're doing the who's dialed in. Last night was more of a who's not dialed in. I think we gave it to Bush Harmon for watching the betting cast. Who people, even the bettors, are saying that's a bad thing they got going on. It's a bad cast. All right, first I'm going with golf Twitter. It was just, or pop culture Twitter, whatever you want to say. Everybody got in on this one. It wasn't just golf. There were so many. We needed a day like this. It took us back to the old days. I just wrote about 2014. It felt alive again for about a half day this morning.
Then it reverted back to the wasteland it is.
We had one was newborn kid, guy sneaks away for a golf trip, cuffs out night one, the tale as old as time, with the picture of him being perp walked across in the dark across the road. We had, if he's next on the tee, he must be free, with Johnny Cochran. This was a favorite of mine. I could go on for 20 minutes.
Who tweeted these?
Do you have their name? Mark Davis. The first one was Kyle Lundgren. This one was Dave Cool, who was, I think, a Louisville local. He goes, LMPD today. And he has the 4 police officers in their vests with their haul of like drugs and guns on the table. It was like a what's in the bag Photoshop or photo shoot with here's his hybrid and his sunscreen. That's what their sort of haul from the arrest. That was a great one. Friday Orange, a lot of people did. There were so many other ones that people got fired up. I said golf media, Scotty's too boring. And then Scotty immediately comes back in his orange jumpsuit. It was just humming. It was humming. My favorite one was someone posted a picture of Blocky. Said if I could drive like Scotty, I'd be in jail too, which is a deeper cut for the golf nerds. You had to go back to Blocky's interview when he talked about driving like Rory. He'd be world class. Was there anything that jumped out to you? Or did we cover it? It was just a great day.
It was amazing. It was just amazing to see. I always love when golf like bursts through to the greater sports world, and you got Adam Schefter tweeting, I love Bunky's tweet
he
over
die?
Adam Schefter. They gave him the death penalty because he's like heading to Valhalla. I think there's like a max detention facility in Valhalla, New York, right?
Okay. No, I think it was Valhalla. He died. He was a soldier that. So when the dead Viking soldiers are killed, they go to Valhalla. It's like, and Schefter tweeted he's on his way to Valhalla. It's like, oh, they killed him.
See, I knew it was something with death, but I didn't even know the exact thing.
Tom Martin had a champion in the second degree as a Nance call, a second degree felony. There were all sorts of audio shops with, many men and all sorts of rap, like making him to be, this kind of, I don't know, badass out of jail. What?
There's the one from Hunter Miller. Rory McIlroy gets divorced the same weekend that Scotty Sheffler is arrested. And then it's the Moneyball tweet, guys, you're still trying to replace Tiger. I'm telling you, we can't do it, but we can recreate him in the aggregate.
So we've got an arrest and a divorce in a week. There's I think Bunky tweeted he started a prison ministry in the hour he was in jail. Just an amazing just for your personal group text, everything. Then he gets there, they're wearing these shirts, free Scotty, you're not a criminal, I liked your mugshot more than Tiger. Just a complete circus all the way around. I'm scrolling through some of it.
I can't believe we're at minute 36 and all we've talked about this. Yeah.
Oh my God, I started the timer late. But yeah, we said we were going to go only Scotty tonight. But so that's who's dialed in. Golf Twitter is 1. 2, I would say I'll go with the Chipmunk.
Oh, I had him on my list of things to talk about.
A big week for the Chipmunk.
That's Joe Mayo.
Joe Mayonnaise back in the picture. KVV had a long article, great article on Hovland searching for it and split up with Mayo and everything. God, the PGA Championship leaderboard is down. What a mess. Good week for it to go down.
And it must have been all the traffic we were sending.
So Hovland's 8 under. He gets back. He gets Joe Mayo. Good week for the Chipmunk. I'll counter. We had a great tweet. Someone sent us. I don't have it on me. It's like, is Hovland just being able to be 8 under all of a sudden further evidence of Valhalla just being a complete sham dog track?
Maybe we'll just save the Valhalla talk for Saturday. I think the city of Louisville's endured enough today.
Well, yeah. Do you have any real critiques from any of this?
I have of the golf course.
No, of the thing today. Like, it's regrettable. I think it seems like the PGA of America wasn't prepared for the crowds. Is where we need to get into a big discussion of it, but that feels like a serious sort of.
It seems like it wasn't thought out. It was a mess. It was a mess during practice rounds getting people in.
People have said it felt very like it's a big property. It's felt jammed like Disney at Christmas Eve.
It's the PGA. The PGA is all about attendance and revenue. A head count. It's just revenue central. So
Chipmunk, he's dialed in. Good week for the Chipmunk. You have anything more you want to add about him? Hovland 8 under.
From the info that I gotten, Hovland reached rock bottom if he went back to Chipmunk.
Yeah, that was we got that around the Masters.
Some disturbing info about the Chipmunk.
They would never be working together again.
Yeah.
Allegedly. But here they are.
They're back
together. So those are my big who's dialed in, my 2 prime ones. Bryson,
I think we're gonna go.
Thick boy is on the come. He's 9 under.
He's got to go back in the morning. He didn't finish.
Oh, he didn't get in?
No, he didn't get in. So he's got to go back in the morning. He got jammed.
He's on 18.
Bryson. Oh no, he got done. He got done.
Yeah, I see he's on 18. I think he must have finished. So
finished in the dark.
He's dialed in. Scotty obviously dialed in no matter what. Sahith dialed in. I'm just reading off the leaderboard. I didn't plan for these for the segment. But
what about Xander? Xander's dialed.
Xander.
My winner's golf Twitter. It was incredible. there was a lot of energy, with
Yeah.
all this.
Well, wait.
A Star is Born in her orange jumpsuit. Honestly,
I mean,
Sheffler, is this a positive thing for the PIP? Do you think this is a positive
is the
meltwater?
PIP still a thing? I think it's gone. I think they did away with the PIP. There were a lot of PIP jokes, but I don't think it's around anymore.
I think it's just smaller. It doesn't have as much money.
Okay.
I think they moved more money into the Comcast business to her top 10.
Think of all the people that this freak occurrence could have happened to. Could have happened to Bowser. But it's the number one odds-on favorite.
Yes!
Guy who's gonna maybe win is the person it happens to. It's crazy. It's crazy that this you woke up and this was him getting walked across the street in cuffs. Had to be nuts. It just kept escalating. What other anything else? I had who's not dialed in if we want to do that.
No,
David Duvall was sort of all over the place.
David Duvall
wanted preferred lines badly.
Honestly, I saw a lot of praise for how ESPN handled this.
Yep.
I don't think I think the coverage has been great. They've showed a lot of shots.
Yeah.
I think like their pace is really good and Scott Van Pelt's really good.
Yep.
If Darlington's not just happened to be there, like that's why it was good, is they had the one person that saw everything happen on air who's like a trained on air person.
Worked out. And a reporter.
But like overarching, I don't think the golf coverage has been very good.
Yep. So I had who's not dialed in, Duvall and Blocky. Sad to see Blocky go. He's gone. He's till next week in the field at Colonial. Anything else? Yeah, you're gonna be playing with them. We got to prep you for that round. Anything else on leaderboard you want to hit on? It's a great leaderboard. It's 12 under is your leader. Morikawa jumped into it. We're gonna have all weekend to talk.
They might get to 18 or 19. All I'm gonna say about Valhalla, what does it say about a golf course that the most notable defense is just mud balls? That's the only thing that's defending anything out here.
Those are the elements. You got to play in the elements, and the elements today were mud balls.
That's the most interesting thing about the golf course. The golf course is going to get less interesting when the mud balls go away.
Well, that's what turned me off to the Duvall asking for preferred lines. It's like, come on, it's the only thing. Like they're already shooting 66 out of jail. Let them at least have to guess the mud balls. Right.
How many times were we gonna watch? How many times were we gonna watch players play the 13th hole, that par 4, where everybody played 15 feet right of the flag and then missed the putt to the right? I mean, they played the hole exactly the same. This golf course stinks. That
hole stinks. It's hilarious to look at. But everybody hits the same approach shot. For 2 days now, it feels like and one guy spins it close enough to make it more of a birdie look, and another guy does it yesterday. But it's all played the same shot.
Yes. It's like insane. What this golf course is everybody plays the same way. It's just sameness. And
there was a lot. Go ahead.
And you know what? It's a great leaderboard. There's lots of fans out there. It's awesome that the city of Louisville is supporting the tournament really well, and it's going to be an awesome weekend. Like the PGA does a great job of getting like bunched up leaderboard and having an awesome weekend. Now, like this happens. What also can happen is like they go to good golf courses like Southern Hills and Kiowa, and all of a sudden the leaderboard separates out, and like it's still an awesome tournament. But the golf course is good, and we know who's playing best. We have no clue who's playing best right now. It's really just a fucking putting contest.
Yeah, I mean, you see Hovland in there. You see Hideki, who's like hurt. Bob Mack, who, is homesick and been terrible on the tour all year. It's just interesting. What is it? I mean, I don't know. Homeless Hubs has had a good year. He's up there. We'll see. It's interesting.
Who's the guy that's going to bomb out? I know my pick for Sunday, but it pains me as a University of Illinois alum who's going to bomb out on Sunday. I've seen that song and dance too many times.
I mean, Lee Hodges passing a kidney stone. What do we need to say anything about Rory? He's the only guy in top 30 or so, played over par. Sort of disappointing. I guess he played even par today, 71. Little disappointing given the conditions that were out there. But he, after
Very
Thursday,
disappointing.
didn't play great on Thursday, scrapped into a 66 and wasn't good again today and didn't scrap it in.
It didn't make any and didn't make putts today. That was the thing. The putting killed him. On top, like he hit it pretty good. He just, he putted pretty bad.
Yep.
So
I was dubious of I'm dubious of Hovland. I guess I watched him chip from behind the green on one, just hammered it way past the hole. It feels like that could come. Even with
it feels like Bryson Scotty. This golf course is so good for Bryson. As long as he doesn't miss into like the bad spots, like the water. If he doesn't hit in the water, it's so good for him because he can just
leaderboard
bludgeon it up there.
I don't want to overreact, but it felt like it was already like his future was dubious, and it feels like today
put a nail in the coffin. The police department did.
I don't know. I don't want to like say there's precipitating cause, and it's kind of an overreaction. But
I think the golf course, if they don't do a full scale renovation, the golf course has probably put the nail in the coffin. So
it's true. All right. I think that does it for our Friday episode. A little longer than we expected. We'll be back Saturday.
Yeah,
talk
it's hard
a little
to
bit,
keep it 30 minutes.
Talk less about jail and incarcerations and probably more about the leaderboard. But this is when you got the daily podcast. You can kind of bob and weave, call a different play for the evening. And we'll go back to talking about the leaderboard tomorrow. See you then. Thank you for your continued support of the Shotgun Start.